So first thing is you open the drawing and you want to hide anything that's irrelevant to the surface, i.e. things that you don't want to influence your surface. The easiest way to do it is using this button, freeze. I'm gonna select like the background map, so I'm gonna select this box, this, and I'm gonna start going through and trying to disable things. This is a water layer outline. I'm gonna hide that, don't care. Electricity, don't care. The stat poles, don't care. Hedge line doesn't matter. The text probably doesn't matter. Yep. Trees don't matter. Trees. Section lines. Electricity. Okay, that's actually important. Gonna leave it for now. Another hedge line. Gate. Not sure what this layer is. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, I think that's most of the stuff that we don't care about. Oh, also contours. Hide them and hide this ones. Grid lines. Okay, so now that we've hidden most of the layers, we still have some things like this text. But if you look at the layer of this text, it's fence, which is the same as this one. So we need to move things out of those layers into ones that we can actually hide. Depends on how accurate you want to be. So the best practice is to create a new layer called, let's say, fence underscore text, and put all the things, or text fence underscore hide, and put everything into those. I'm not gonna do that. What I'll do is just create a new layer and I'm gonna call it hide. Actually, no, yeah, I'll do the proper thing. Fence hide, and I'm gonna select these two things, select similar, and just move them to fence hide. What's this? Drain SW. Drain SW hide. Select similar, drain SW hide. Inspection cover. What happens if we just, nope. Do we need those squares? Are they 3D? Yeah, they are 3D, so possibly we need them. So inspection covers, where are those? H. Inspection covers. Hide. That's already there. Not sure what this is. Street furniture. Street furniture, I think, can just go. It's not part of the surface, so just hide the whole layer. So once you cleaned up the drawing like this, have a look at it in 3D. See, oh, there was like something here that's 2D, doesn't have elevation. That can definitely go. It's just the verge. So hide it. Ooh, that actually removes some of that stuff. So I guess we don't want to hide the whole layer. We want to hide only this part. So verge, hide. All right. We're gonna look at it from 3D. Everything seems good. There is a lot of text around, but that's fine. So what we're gonna do first is look at the layer of the text. It's level spot, so let's find that. Create a new layer. Okay. Still one here, services underground water. Okay, once you cleaned up, make sure to save your layer state. I think it's this button. Yep, layer states manager. And we're gonna create a new surface. Let's just go with surf. And update. So that means, like, for example, if after I enable this layer, I can go to here, click on surf, and then restore. And it's gonna restore it to state that it was before. Okay, so one thing that you will notice is that level spots are actually block references, but I think that's fine. That should not be an issue. So first thing we need to do is go top view once we cleaned up. Select all our spots. The way to do that is select one, right click, select similar. Make sure that all your spots are selected. We can do group G. Oh no, what did I do? Select similar, it's just G. Yeah, group 1205 has selected, and then we're gonna do hide onto group. Not sure what happened there. Select similar, group. Yeah, now I have a group of that. Then we're going to do hide. Don't know why it's going to isolate object, hide select objects. There we go. I'm gonna make sure that we didn't miss any spots. Oh, this one. What is it? It's a block reference layer 0. Select similar. How many do I have? 4 of them. 1, 2, 3. Where's the free one? 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. We're just gonna move them to levels. Actually, levels invert, I guess. Yeah, they are levels invert. Perfect. Okay. Isolate objects and object isolation. There you go. So that's honestly the longest and the most tedious part of all of this. So I'm gonna save this as EVY. Gonna go to my layer manager, make sure I replace the layer state, update, and save again. So quick save, there you go. And now we can start actually making the surface. To use the surface, you need to use the tool space. Open it, go to surface, create surface, give it surface layer, very important. New layer, we're gonna call it surface. There you go. Everything here is fine. So that creates a new surface, surface 1. We're gonna start giving it definition. So the first thing that we want to do is add some drawing objects. And it's gonna be blocks, because all our points are blocks. And we're gonna select it. Because we grouped them previously, we can just click on one and it's gonna add all of them. Need to make another group of those. So first of all, let's add those. Select this one, select similar, and there's 6 of them now, which is fine. Just gonna group and add those blocks as well. There we go. So that has created a surface. You can see the boundary of it here in yellow. What we need to do is go to surface style and change it so that we can actually see the triangles. So in plan view, enable triangles. That shows you the triangles. Wireframe is one of the fastest ways of viewing things. 2D or 3D wireframe. Perfect. And you can have a look at the way it's triangulating things. Things seem to be actually not too bad. We just need to start adding break lines. So, where's the surface? Let's just disable it for a minute. And let's start looking at the break lines. So, break lines, the biggest issue is when things cross and when they cross at different elevations. What a break line is, you can think of it as infinite amount of points along that line. It's basically going to be setting the elevations along that line and enforcing a triangle edge along that line. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just quick select. And we're going to select all 3D polylines. Color equals select all. And a new selection set. Why did that not work? Quick select, entire drawing, 3D polyline, select all. There you go. So we have selected all the 3D polylines in the drawing. I'm gonna just try to add them straight away as break lines. So first I'm gonna group them. Guess that makes it much easier to select them again later. Add, just gonna give it a name of one, standard, and just everything else exactly the same. And let's look at the surface it has created. So you can see now the triangle edges actually follow the break lines, much nicer, and it gives you this events viewer. And if you look at it, you can see that a lot of points are duplicated. You can honestly just usually ignore it. That's absolutely fine. But the thing that you do need to look at is the crossing break lines. And if you can look at it, what that means is if a break line crosses, it can't use that whole break line, and you basically, it gets ignored. Like over here, you can see that there's two break lines crossing right at this point. And because they're crossing, AutoCAD just ignores both lines, and it does a weird triangle here that doesn't follow them. Let's just make it conceptual so you can see a bit better. Honestly, here it doesn't really matter because it's very little difference, but what you can do is you can right click on your surface, go to surface properties, definitions, build. And here you can start messing with some settings. So allow crossing break lines. So we're going to set to yes, and we're going to use average elevation. So usually this should fix most issues of crossing break lines. And also another thing that we can do is use maximum triangle length. Well, I'll first explain what it does. So rebuild the surface. So we allowed crossing break lines, and now we're going to look at maximum triangle length. Just remove that for a second. So what you can see is that the surface it has created has very long triangles over here that extend further than they should the outer boundary of your model, out of your tin. If we hide the surface, you can see that if you were generating this surface by hand, let me just mute notifications. If you're making the surface by hand, you would make a boundary looking something like this, following this break lines, then around like this. AutoCAD doesn't do that. If you don't specify the maximum triangle length, it's gonna generate your surface that looks exactly like this. One way that you can make it better is if you go to surface 1, right click, surface properties, build maximum length. Where's that? Here, maximum triangle length. I'm gonna set it to yes, and we're gonna set the distance. And the distance we're gonna set is, let's say, from this point to this point. That's 26 meters. So any triangle that's more than that will just not be made. And you can see that already has improved it. You still have weird triangles here, 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 but it's significantly better than before. I don't want to go significantly less than like 26 meters because some real triangulation might not happen. We're gonna try tightening it just a bit. So where is it? Use maximum. So instead of 26, let's go like how much? 15? Let's go too much. And let's look at what happened. Yeah, you see, too little distance gives you holes. Okay, I actually don't need my layers panel. I'm just gonna start managing like this. It's much easier when you have two monitors. You can have the layers panel on tool space on a different monitor. Makes your life much easier. But for recording, I have to use one. So let's go 20 meters. Rebuild. Okay, that actually seems to have worked very nicely. Okay, 20 meters it is. All right, so the next thing is you're gonna view at the surface from the top, and you're gonna extract from surface, extract objects, and you're gonna select the border. If there is no option to the border, you need to go to edit the surface style and make sure that the border is enabled in 2D. If it's not enabled, it won't give you that option. Same with triangles, contours, and stuff. It didn't give me an option to export contours because contours were hidden. So now we have extracted the border. And why doesn't it show? Selection, cycling, there you go. So yeah, this button switches on selection cycling, like this dialog box. We're gonna select our 3D polyline and we're gonna create a new layer called boundary. And I'm gonna make it color, I don't know, something highly visible. Let's go orange. And we're gonna move this 3D polyline into our boundary layer. We're gonna hide the surface for a bit, and we're just gonna start moving this manually wherever things are wrong. Okay, seems to have finished the boundary, most of it. So if we enable our layer, again, the surface. There we go. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't show up. If it doesn't, just go into 3D using Shift and middle mouse click, then go back to top view and it should reappear. So we need to re-add the boundary. It's going to be outer, non-destructive, doesn't really matter. There you go. And let's fix it. And let's also change the style. I don't really care about major and minor contours. Oh, they're not enabled. Never mind. Okay, let's have a look at it now. Okay, some break lines, you can see crossing break lines still didn't get applied properly. Yeah, weird pits and stuff around here. Most stuff here is good. The channel itself is good. Here there's like a step, some weird step. Let's just see if that's actually real or not. Yeah, it seems like it is. There's some dark... Oh, where did it go? Here. What is this layer? Can't. Don't want to ungroup, but yeah, there is a step clearly here. Yeah, you can see this break line also didn't get applied. Yeah, because it's crossing all of this, and it's crossing this, and here. And because it crosses in one location, it basically breaks everywhere. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna select all of them and then ungroup. There you go. That has ungrouped it. Okay, there's many different ways. So usually just clicking that button to allow crossing break lines fixes things, but here it has not worked perfectly. So what we need to do is we need to do something like break at point. Break at point command is just like that, break at point. You click it, you select an object, it's gonna ask you where you want to break the object up. We're gonna change the snapping to be nearest for this. So nearest, and click at point, and you will see that the line got broken up into two at that specific location. We're gonna do the same thing and click, let's say, over here and here. And now we can remove this part, and we have separate break lines that do not cross. You can do the same thing here, but instead of just breaking it, you can just move the vertex a bit. Look at it in 3D to make sure that things match, and they do. Go back to the top view. Since you're going to be using break at point many times, it's better to give it a keyboard shortcut. To do that, you go to User Interface UI, you customize. Over here, you search for break at point. You use the AutoCAD shortcut, and here's the keyboard shortcuts. You just grab it and drag it to shortcut keys. I already had one, so let me just delete this. Remove. Okay, so once you have it, you find it in the shortcut keys, you click on it, and here is the keyboard shortcut that you can use. You click on this little 3 dots to give it a shortcut. You give it something like Ctrl-Alt-B or anything you want, and click apply, OK. And now you can very quickly do this many times. So Ctrl-Alt-B, select the line here, Ctrl-Alt-B, select the line here, select this break. So once that's done, let's just rebuild the surface. And you can use this events viewer to help you navigate the location. There should be a button somewhere to zoom to. Why is that not appearing? Let's just clear it. Action, clear all events, rebuild. Okay, there is zoom to now. And we can just click here. So yeah, that should be fine. That should be fine. What's crossing here? I don't really see anything. At this point, that might cause issues. We're gonna check that later. Might cause issues. That should be fine. Okay, is anything crossing here? No. Should be fine. Fine. I'm just looking at, okay, so this will definitely be issues. You can see that they're like properly crossing, and they most probably have different elevations. You can see here. So that will cause issues. So we need to fix areas like this. So again, go to top view, Ctrl-Alt-B, select a line, select a line. And let's delete this little part. Zoom to next part. We already fixed that one. Oof, here things, yeah, here things will be broken again. Not sure which one's actually. Maybe I should have broken this one. Bank top. Hedge. This is gonna cause some triangulation issues. Because what that's gonna do is gonna triangulate from this point to here. Then down. It's gonna be weird. Well, we can see what the way it looks like. Let's rebuild and enable the layer. Surface. Rebuild. And you can see what happens. So weird and badly triangulated. And that's because of the crossing break lines. It's trying to use the average elevation, but it just doesn't work really well. Okay, so it was over here somewhere, I think. So the way to fix it is it's not even crossing here. And it's not crossing here. It's just a bad line. Surveyor, when he did this, it just doesn't make sense. The elevation of this line doesn't make sense. I guess it should be actually going to this point across. So what I will do, I don't know. Here you have to use your engineering judgment. I mean, the difference between this elevation is what? 0 meters? No, sure it can't be. Vertex Z is 45.255 and this one 45.321 in 5 centimeters. Not the end of the world if I have a jump like that. I'll just move this line or remove it altogether. What are we trying to do? I think I just need to move this line vertically up. So the elevation that we want here is, let's enable snapping to endpoint. $45,321. 45.321. 45.321. Like that. Maybe this line is too high. This should be 45.291. 45.291. 45.291. Okay, so that should now be better. And we'll just snap it here, snap it here, then again break at point here, here, and remove these 2 parts. Now we'll have a little hill over this part. Let's rebuild and see what happens. Yeah, now we no longer have this bad triangulation here. Everything goes over smooth. Oh wait, were we looking at a different location? Should be looking here. Yeah, but you can see, no, still bad triangulation. Why is that? Oh, because we didn't re-add all the break lines. So to re-add the break lines, we're just gonna hide all the surfaces. No, that is just wrong. I see what happened. I set the wrong elevation, 3 to 1. Yeah, now that makes way more sense. This needs to be fixed. You can see the triangulation is slightly better, but there is still like a step over here. Why there is a step, I don't know. Let's just remove this vertex. There you go. Now the triangulation is okay. All right, let's continue. So we're mostly done. There's like a dozen or so crossing break lines. Okay, we're going through the loop, second loop. All right, so what we're gonna do is again clear all events. We're gonna rebuild the surface. I think what we need to do is re-add all the break lines again. This is safer way to do it. So I'm gonna click on all of these ones and delete. What I'll do is also do a quick select on entire drawing 3D polylines. Select all, new selection. I'm gonna group them. Just makes it easier to add. Cool. So let's go again to layers, enable the surface. So the surface now should be absolutely horrific. You can see without break lines, things are going like all wobbly with like bad triangulation. Let's re-add the break lines. One. Select one of them, but because they're grouped, this should select all. Well, my group never got made. That's very annoying. Quick select. Entire drawing, 3D polylines, select all. Okay. Group. Okay, now you can see they're all in the same group. Break lines. Let's delete. Add. One. Okay, that has added, and you can instantly see that things have become much nicer. And here you need to start to think about what kind of accuracy do you care about. Because if you want an absolutely perfect sin, you should invest like significantly more time in fixing it. But to be honest, this looks mostly nice. I do need to fix this area here. You can see just weirdness. You might think, well, this doesn't matter. It's only like a small area. The problem arises with the small area is that this is very deep water. And if water ever gets into here from TwoFlow, it will be really, really annoying and very, very hard to spot, especially because TwoFlow doesn't provide any check files for tins. Water gets into here, you're gonna get very, very low time step, and your whole model is gonna run like well, in Kenneth and Lumber case, it was running something like 3 times slower than it needed to be. So yeah, I kind of wish I fixed those issues with the tins when I was doing Kenneth and Lumber. But it should be relatively okay to fix here. So what we're gonna do, go to top view, disable the surface, and have a look why it's happening. It's happening because this point, levels invert, is getting added. Okay, so maybe we don't actually want to add the levels invert. And if you remember, it should be this things, drawing objects. So let's just delete them. First we added all the points and then I added the levels invert. So if I delete it, that should just disappear. And there you go, it's much nicer. There is weirdness here. That's a crossing break line, I guess. What should it be? I guess it should be top view here. Oh yeah, that's why it's happening, because that's going there and that's going there. So what is this line? Does it actually exist? Let's ungroup. Fence. Ooh, fence should actually, I guess, not be part of the tin. Yeah, fence should not be part of tinnable area. Let's just hide all fences. Because I thought it's bottom of fence, but it seems to be actually top of fence, so we're gonna hide all fences. Let's delete the break lines. Actually, I don't know. Maybe we don't need to delete it. Because it's frozen, it technically should not be readable. So if we rebuild it, those should just disappear. I don't know, we'll see. Surface, let's check. Rebuild. Nope, still very much getting that fence. All right, let's drawing objects. Well, we're gonna, let's do it now actually. Delete. Quick select 3D polylines, select all, include new selection set. Okay, there you go, and we're gonna add all of them. I'm not gonna group them. I think we can just click add like this, and let's rebuild. There you go. Much nicer here. I mean, that's concrete, that's fine. Sharp edge. Yep. That all seems fine. There's some weirdness here, but it's like so minor it doesn't matter. Some weirdness here. Okay, this is not getting applied. That all looks good. Like things like that, very small ones, honestly, it doesn't matter. Should be fine. Unless you're the surveyor, you don't know exactly what should have been going on here. That looks like some concrete angles. Let's just check. Yeah, that's exactly how it is. So here arises a question. Is this line correct? Verge. I mean, verge usually means that, yeah, it's like some concrete or something going on like that. So we're gonna leave it. I have no idea if it's actually true or not, if there is an angle here, but that's what the surveyor gave us, so we're gonna keep it. Let's go back to surface. Some weirdness, but that's fine. Ooh, this part should definitely be fixed. How is that even triangulating? So the boundary, it seems to be broken. So this is our boundary. Gonna re-add it. Boundaries, refresh. Boundary 1, delete. And boundaries add 1. And let's rebuild. There you go, you can see that it fixed it. So what, oof. Yeah, things like that, this is what needs to be fixed. All right. but up till this point, everything north of here is fine. Everything here is fine. Yeah, that's fine. All right, so up to this junction, north of it, everything is fine. We need to fix this area over here. And let's just look. Vertical edge. Yeah, okay, fine, maybe real. Weirdness. Yeah, you can see here again, weirdness with like the triangulation. Yeah, bank top. Bank tops are usually required, and this is verge. Okay. Honestly, don't care too much about it, but if you want a perfect in, you should fix it. And this area, oof, again, yeah, bad triangulation here, that needs to be fixed. And here. All right, so we have two areas that need fixing. So let's start with this one. What's going on here? We have, just trying to understand what the surveyor did. There is something here. Sorry about that. Okay, we have some weirdness here. Wall top. And how does it triangulate? Not too good. So without the photo or stuff, I can't really say what should be happening here, because we don't have wall bottom. So if it's a vertical wall, there should be a wall bottom that's slightly bigger than this on the outside as a break line. And that would apply like a bottom polyline and the top one, and you'll get a vertical wall. But since we don't have that, we need to try and figure out what did the surveyor want to do. Well, it seems like what he wanted to do is, on this side, you see diagonal. Here should be a diagonal as well, but we don't have this line. And that's why it's triangulating very weirdly. And also, it's crossing. So here this is where you need to just kind of use your judgment. So we're gonna enable snapping by angles and just move it. Yeah, you need to stop. So like, I'll show you. If I put it here, the elevation of that point might have changed. You can see it's very low down, and before it was still very low down. Okay. Usually what I recommend is when you're moving, when you want to move without changing the elevation, either make sure that the elevation that you're looking at is correct, 44 0.89, then move it. Seem to fix it in AutoCAD. It's not moving anymore. That's perfect. So we can leave it like that. Or if you want to make sure that you're definitely not adjusting elevation, move it using polar coordinates, like with the snap. Then you know that the elevation will definitely not change. But that's fine. So we moved it like this. And that should already mostly fix. But I also think there should be a polyline going from here down so that you get a vertical wall. Because why else he would put this as wall top? So what we're gonna do is grab this polyline and add a vertex. So I'll add 2 vertices. So what I can do is put, I'll add 3. Put that one here. I'll just leave a mark. So just putting a random line so that I know the exact coordinate of this. And this vertex can move now. This one here. Don't care about this one. And this one needs to go, I don't know, let's say here. Then we're just gonna move it back a bit. Now let's rebuild. Rebuild. Okay. Things are broken. I have no idea what's wrong with this polyline. So what I will do is just follow it and redigitize it. Guess closing AutoCAD might help and reopening it, but I'll just put this 3D poly. We want to snap only to endpoints, not nearest, and let's go just follow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'll do another vertex here so I know that it's this one, and I want to select this one, just delete. And this one, more vertex. Breaklines, add. That seems to have fixed it. Yep, that works. All right, so yes, nice. So that has worked. What the hell was wrong with that polyline? No idea. Let's just fix things we have broken before. So surface 1, surface properties, build, use average. All right. Okay, and let's rebuild. Things are still broken here, but that's fine. This we should be able to fix. This polyline, breaklines, add. Yep, that has added it. Let's just do re-add all of them. Delete, add. Why can't I quick select? Quick select, 3D polyline, select all, include new. All right. What? 3D polyline, select all, new selection. Entire drawing, yeah. 3D polyline, select all. There you go. Breaklines, add 1. Oh, there you go. Nice. Okay, that kind of looks okay. So we have a bad triangle this way. And this bad triangle happens because we do not have a break line going from this point down. That's why it's triangulating up. So we need to add that. I'll add it in a second. What we need to decide is what is actually true in here, in this point. So we have a gap here and a gap here. What do we actually want to do here? What is true, what is not true? My guess is that the true thing is it shouldn't... Oh, do we have actually something surveyed down? Yeah, we do. So, that's very annoying. So there is a wall here, and then the surveyor says that there is something here on the bottom, and that's why it's doing that. Question is, do we trust it? I mean, surveyor says yes, so we leave it as is. This is your engineering judgment. Both are justifiable. Wall. I guess that's actually what it is. Without having a photo or something of this, very difficult to say what is actually here. Would somebody construct this like this? God knows. This must be also a culvert or something. So I'm gonna assume that whoever models this is gonna put inactive code anyway, or something like that, or a culvert entrance at this point. So I'm just gonna ignore it and hope that everything's fine. Oh, I do need to fix this triangulation over here, because that's bad. So let's just fix this one thing. And it should be easy enough. So we're gonna go select it, view from top, and then add a vertex going down to, let's say, here, and then we're gonna just move it back a bit like that. Surface rebuild. There you go. Now it's much nicer. Okay, here, let's try to figure out what's going on here. So it seems like there is a pool with some vertical walls. Yeah, pool vertical walls, but this makes no sense. This is below here when I assume it should be actually inside. Maybe there is an undercut, but AutoCAD cannot handle undercuts. So what we need to do is all of this line delete. It cannot exist. All of this line delete. It cannot exist. And then we need to, I guess, add the vertex going from here to, let's say, here. Add another vertex. Let's just make it like that. Does that make sense? Yeah, kinda. We are just making data, which is not fantastic, but kind of have to fix it here. All right. And then we need to join these two lines into one. Yep, otherwise it will be complaining about crossing ones. Rebuild. That should automatically make it much nicer. Oof, say that. Well, kinda. We're still going down to this point. Why is it going down to that point? Oh, because there is a surveyed point down there. But we cannot have that point there, so we need to physically delete that point. What are we gonna do? We're gonna ungroup. And this point, we're gonna make it level spot height. And where is it? Drawing objects. You can also go to selecting the thin surface and go to edit surface, delete point. You need to just have them showing, so points, enable them in plan view. They're way too big. Surface style points. Point units, 3 meters. No. Use relative to screen. Use drawing scale. Let's change this from like 1 to 100. 100 to 1. Yeah, okay, that's nicer. We need to delete this point, so edit surface, delete point, and we're just gonna click on this one point. There you go. here again, it's triangulating that because this break line is broken up, so we need to actually fix that. So select it, height to surface, don't want to see it. All right, so add vertex. Does that make sense? Yeah, it does, elevation wise. Again, 10. Let's join it like that. So now we have one long. Oof, that cannot happen. Break at line. Remove. Join. This should be joined as well. Let's make sure that it's closed. Yep. So now it's a closed polyline like that. And it's gonna make a pool, completely flat pool on the bottom of here. Surface, rebuild. Yeah, and it's not added, so breaklines add 132. You can see it kind of worked. I mean, that undercut right there is a bit weird. But okay, who is to say that it's not real? Here we made the pool, everything is fine. This vertical weirdness over here, not sure what that is. Usually you can fix that again, going to edit surface and then swap edge. But I highly suggest you do this later. Like that. You can swap individual edges, but that should be like your very last thing you do, because as you add break lines and stuff, triangulation will switch, and you might be doing this repeatedly many times, so do it at the end. Okay, why do we have a single point here, and what is it? There's no polyline connecting them. What is that? Bank top. Bank top goes up to there and then it just stops. Oh, that's unhelpful. Bank top, bye bye. All right, that looks good now. Maybe that bank top is relevant and it should connect there, but Surveyor didn't do it and it was doing crazy things, so I don't know. Again, if you know a photo and there should be if you have a photo and there should be like a vertical wall or something, that polyline should connect to that and then it would fix itself. Here everything is fine. Here we have like a little pool. Here we go through and it's all fine. Here it's fine. Okay, boundary needs to be re-added. Nope, that's not the boundary. The yellow one, yeah. Add definition, boundaries, add. There you go. A vertical step, no idea why. Our corners. Oh yeah, the triangles are still there, fine. Yeah, the one that was swapped is there. Yeah. Yeah. All good. And here in flat bits, I don't think there will be any issue. that all seems fine. Okay, so that's pretty much done. So once it's done, what you do is you make sure you save it. I will just overwrite TV1. I don't care about that one. Close. Yeah, let's replace it. Yep. So you replaced it. Now what we need to do is click on the surface, extract from surface, or no, wait. There's two methods. One is to extract from surface, extract object triangles, save them to DXF, make sure it's not layer 0, and then run the DXF to tin.py Python script on it, and it will convert it to a .tin file, the Aquaveo SMS. You open it in SMS, you renumber all the nodes to reduce node connectivity, and you convert that file to 2DM, you import it into QGIS, you make sure that everything is fine, and that's the whole process. Or a slightly different process that's also good, you right click on this and you export to LandXML. You make sure you're selecting this one, version 1.2, click OK. 1292, where's that? This is the XML. So if the XML is single line, it will really not like it. TwoFlow doesn't like that file. So you need to convert it from single line to, from single line to multi-line. Easiest way to do it is just ask ChatGPT. I have a single line XML. How do I convert it to multi-line? There is also, where is it? LandXML. You could do something like this, sudo apt install this one, and then XML lint format, and overwrite the same file, and it's going to convert it from single line to multi-line XML. But we can see that we already have a multi-line. So AutoCAD, not AutoCAD, TwoFlow should be able to just read this file straight off as is. I have no idea why sometimes it does it single line, once sometimes it does multi-line. No idea. But anyway, this file is here. Let's open it in QGIS. So you need a plugin. It's called XML something. LandXML to Mesh by Lutra Consulting. And then you go LandXML to Mesh. Convert acceptable surfaces to meshes. You specify the input file. It's 1292 Maple Road. Specify output for 2DM, mesh CRS 277, and here this is important. You don't specify a 2DM file, you just specify a folder, which is very annoying, like that. Click run, close, and now you have your 2DM file. Let's enable native mesh rendering, and you can have a look at all the triangulation and make sure that everything seems fine and looks good. And there you go, and that's how you use AutoCAD Civil 3D.